In the last few years, online scalping of products has been blowing up. Scalping PS5s, Xboxes, graphics cards, and of course, Lego. So all these people are online scalping products, scalping Lego, and it would appear that they're making quite a bit of money doing this. So the question I'm asking myself and the question I'm gonna ask you is, should you become a Lego scalper? So we're gonna look at several different things in this video about Lego scalping, and I'm gonna attempt to give you my opinion on whether I think Lego scalping is good or bad. If you've been online on the Lego resale pages or just online in general, you've probably seen some tension revolving around Lego scalping and price gouging on different Lego sets. It's just something that comes along with the territory. I want to start off by saying, first off though, that I am not an authority on Lego scalping. You can feel free to sell your Lego sets however you would like to do so. I am going to attempt though to add just a little bit of context to the subject of Lego scalping in this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Keep it civil if you would, but let me know what your thoughts are on Lego scalping and whether you think it's a good or bad way to go about selling your Lego. So first, let's talk about the different types of Lego scalping that you'll see get called out in the Lego community. Yes, there are different types, I would say. The first one I would label as new set reselling. So when a new popular set is just about to get launched, resellers might go ahead and buy up all the new sets that are about to get released so that the supply for that set goes down, the demand is still high, and that allows resellers to sell that new set at a higher cost to people that still want it right when it gets launched. The second type of scalping that I would say I've seen called scalping in the community is when someone lists a very old or rare Lego set or minifigure and maybe bump the price way up on it. I've seen people in the community maybe not like that, maybe feel it's price gouging, and it gets called scalping. I'll give you my thoughts on whether I feel like that is scalping or not, but I've seen that kind of a situation called scalping. The third type of scalping that I've seen called out, I would call end-of-life reselling. This is when a reseller purchases a bunch of sets at a discounted price that are about to retire. The reseller then lists them online after they've retired at an elevated price, and buyers might call them out because they don't feel like they should be elevated to that level, or they shouldn't have to pay that much extra just to get a set that's retired. Those would be the different types of Lego scalping that I would say I've seen get called out in the Lego community at different points in time. Pretty cool brickhead, huh? I would say it's pretty rare, so I'm gonna sell it, and I think I'm gonna charge $1,000. Does that sound like a fair price? It doesn't. Okay, well, I thought it was fair, but let's just forget about the sale. Do me a favor if you would though, which would be much appreciated. Throw a like on the video if you're finding any type of value in it. That would be very helpful. Thank you. So I brought in 3 different individuals that I'm here with today that have all been called at some point in time a Lego scalper in one of those 3 different types. I wanted to get their take on if what they felt they were doing was actually Lego scalping, and maybe give us a little bit more context on if they feel like they're a Lego scalper and what their actual opinion is on the subject. Let's go ahead and jump into the first one. Okay, Anonymous, so you're known as a scalper in the community. You go online, purchase all kinds of Lego sets right when they release. You do this in various ways, from bots to purchasing sets with multiple accounts, and you buy up bulk lots of these different popular sets to drive up demand and lower supply. What would you say to the people that call you a scalper?
So I definitely wouldn't call myself a scalper. I think of myself as on the same playing field as everyone else out in the Lego community. We all have the same opportunity in the world to purchase stuff and take a risk if we want to. I'm taking a risk when I buy up a whole bunch of sets or products. I feel like everyone has the same opportunity to do the same thing that I'm doing and make some money and put it in their pocket.
He doesn't want his face to be seen. Do we have anything else back there that we could use to cover up his face? Is that all we've got? Let's just go with it. That'll work. So Ed, a lot of people would consider you a Lego scalper. A lot of people say that you obviously have a lot of rare Lego sets that you get and a lot of rare minifigures, and a lot of people would say the prices that you list them for online are extreme prices and you're just trying to take advantage of people. What would you say to those people that say your prices are very extreme? And do you consider yourself a Lego scalper?
So yes, what I do basically is buy rare Lego sets and minifigures at a discounted price so that I can sell them later on at an elevated price and actually make some money. This is my side hobby business, basically. The way I feel about it is people don't have to buy what I'm selling. If they feel like it's an expensive or elevated price, they don't have to buy that specific item. Someone will eventually either like that price and buy it because they really want the item, or what I'm basically doing is putting the price on an item that I feel is what it's valued at, and then giving the people opportunity to say if they want to buy the item or not. Can you tell me if my bow tie is crooked?
You're a savvy investor, Boris, and most people know that. So you typically buy sets when they're about to retire, you try to buy them at the lowest possible price, and then you resell them at the top price of the market when you're able to. Some people call you a scalper. What do you actually do with your Lego investing, and what is your response to that?
So yes, I would consider myself a numbers guy, not a Lego scalper, and I'll tell you why. If Lego is getting ready to retire a set, it's been on the shelves for 1 year to 8 years. That is plenty of shelf life for a consumer to have already purchased the set and had it in their collection. And at that point in time, if the Lego set is retiring, and a lot of times retailers are discounting the set to actually get it off the shelves, I feel like it's perfectly fair game for a Lego investor to come in, buy a bunch of those sets, hold on to them, whatever the quantity is that Lego or the retailer is willing to allow that buyer to purchase. Buy up to just what that quantity is. Don't try to work a bunch of loopholes. Buy that quantity, keep it on the shelves, and then if the value on those sets go up after they retire, that is at the benefit of the investor because he took the risk to purchase the set, hold on to it, and then do the work to resell it. He should definitely be able to make 2 or 3 times his money on that, and I think that's a very valid way to make some money on the side, or if you can do it as a full-time business, do it as a full-time business. But at a minimum, it's a great way to have some fun, make some money on the side, and I don't think there's any type of scalping involved with that at all. I think that's just good business to buy something at a low price. You're not taking anything away from anybody else because they already had a chance to purchase it. You're buying it, and then you're waiting for it to go up in value, and then if it does, you're reselling it.
So let's get serious. What do I actually think about Lego scalping and the different types of Lego scalping that are out there? Number 1, buying a whole bunch of a popular set when it releases. I'm not a huge fan of this type of Lego investing or reselling. I consider myself a Lego fan first, and then a Lego investor second. I want Lego fans to be able to enjoy the different products that Lego releases and not have to pay huge prices on the aftermarket because there was a bunch of buyers that just bought up all the supply. I'm not a fan of people using bots to purchase a bunch of sets when they first get released. We've seen what happened with the Xbox and PlayStations where you just couldn't get your hands on them for the longest time, and in some cases still can't get your hands on like the PlayStation. That type of reselling in my mind is just not a great way to do things. Lego has stopped a lot of that, and a lot of times they put a limit of 2 on really popular sets. However, people still try to find workarounds and create multiple accounts and, try to get more sets so that they can resell them. If you're someone that purchases one, maybe a second one, and then you end up reselling that second one for a little bit of an elevated price, I don't feel like that's a big deal. But if you're purchasing 4, 6, 10, 20, 30, that's just out of control in my mind. I don't think that needs to happen, and I don't think that's a good way to invest or resell in Lego, and that I would consider Lego scalping. Number 2, selling your rare Lego sets or minifigures at a heightened price. That I do not feel is Lego scalping. I feel that in the open market, people have an opportunity to sell their Lego sets or minifigures at whatever price they want to put them at. Whether that is something that you feel is a really extreme price for a specific set or minifigure, That is up to you and what you think of that price. However, people can sell their items at whatever price they want to. I don't feel like that's scalping in any shape or fashion. No one actually has to purchase the item. If the demand isn't there, that item isn't going to sell at an elevated price anyways, and the seller a lot of times is going to have to drop down the price to whatever the market value is for that specific set or minifigure. So I feel like the market will dictate what the price is on a specific item. People can list it up for whatever they want, but at the end of the day, there has to be a seller and there has to be a buyer, and if there isn't buyers at that price, the price is going to drop. So no, I don't feel like you pricing your item at an extreme price is Lego scalping. Feel free to price your Lego items at whatever you want to sell them at. Number 3, buying sets end of life at a discounted price. This again, I feel is not Lego scalping. Most of my purchases are when a set retires, when they're discounted. At this point in time, most of the Lego fans have had a chance over the course of a couple years to buy that set if they want to buy it. If we're now a couple years down the road and that set's about to retire, I feel like that's fully fair game for Lego investors and resellers to buy up as much as they can get their hands on in order to eventually be able to sell that set on the aftermarket at an elevated price. I actually feel like there's a lot of value in that type of reselling, because even for myself, there are sets before I got into Lego that I would actually like to get my hands on in the future and actually build and add to my collection. If there wasn't resellers or investors buying up those sets and storing them on shelves and keeping them for years at a time, I wouldn't be able to get my hands on those sets at this point in time. That puts a market in place for people that want to get their hands on a set from 2012 or 2014 or 2008 or 1996. You can get your hands on a set like that because there are resellers and Lego investors, etc. I feel like that's perfectly fair game. I feel like there's no Lego scalping involved with that, so I don't feel like that's Lego scalping at all. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this topic. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Lego content in the future, and I will see you next time for another video. Later.